Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Tech Sharp. My name is Rohit, and in this video we are going to talk about the BERT report generation using the Informix database as a data source. So in this tutorial we are going to discuss about the brief introduction to the BERT interface, specifically how to download and install it. Next we'll see how to configure the report preview setting so that we can preview our report. Next, we'll learn how to connect with the Informix data source using the Informix JDBC driver. And after that, we'll create a sample BERT report. For that, we'll create a dataset first, and then we'll use the same dataset in our report. Next, we'll do some content formatting in that report. And after all these steps, we will run the generated report in the browser. Okay, so let's start with the tutorial now. So, according to the Eclipse, BERT is an open source technology platform which is used to create data visualizations and reports that can be embedded into rich clients and web applications. Simple, right? So, to download BERT, we'll click on this download button here, and that will take us to this download page. In this page, we have three options to download. For this tutorial, we are going to choose RCP Designer, which is a dedicated BERT designer platform. And to download this, we need to click on this button here, and after the successful download, we'll get a zip file like this, and once we unzip it, we'll get all these files here. Now, to run the BERT interface, we'll click on this BERT.exe file here, and it will open a BERT interface for us, like this. And that's it. Now you are ready to create your first BERT report using the BERT report interface. Now, I'm going to explain some element of this tool which we'll use further to generate our sample BERT report. So, the very first step is to create a new report. We'll go into the file, new, and new report. You can give any name here like sample BERT report, and you can do next. Choose the blank report from here. You can choose anyone from the given list, but right now I'm choosing the blank report, and click on the finish. Here it is. So in the middle, you'll see this is the main layout page where we'll design our report, and in the left hand side we have a container which includes three tabs. The very first one is the palette. This is the container for all the UI elements which we'll use in our report to create some UI elements in the report. And the second tab is Data Explorer. It contains the data sources, data sets, and other database related stuff from where you can select the data and save the data sets. And the third one is the Resource Explorer. It contains all your reports in one place. And in the below, here's the outline container. From here you can see the outline of your report. And in the below of the layout page, you'll see the property editor. This property editor is to edit the properties of your UI element in the layout page. So let's get started. Now I'll show you how you can enable the preview setting for the external browsers so that you can preview your report once it is done. So we'll go to the Windows option here, and then the Preferences. You will see the preview option setting here, and once you click in this, you will see this option here, the checkbox for always use external browsers. We need to check it here, and after that go to this web browser option here and choose this use external web browser option from this, and you can choose any of the given web browsers from here. Click on apply, then apply and close, and that's it. Okay, with this setting, our first part of agenda is done. Now we'll move forward to the next part of our agenda, which is to connect the BERT report interface with the Informix data source. Interesting, right? So let's look into that. Well, before connecting to the Informix data source, we'll have to ensure a few things first. The first thing is our Informix database is up and running. We can check that by running onstat- command on the Informix terminal. And the second thing is we have the data for our test report generation. And the third thing is we have the Informix JDBC driver installed in our system for the connectivity. Well, don't worry. For the reference, I am providing the sample data and the Maven link for the Informix JDBC driver in the description section of this video. Okay, so to connect to the data source, we'll have to go to this second menu here, Data Explorer, and inside that we have this data sources option. We need to right click here and we'll get new data source. Click in this, and from the list we need to choose JDBC data source. We can provide any data source name here like Informix data source, then next. So we get the options like driver class, database URL, username, password, and some other details. Maybe for the first time you'll not see this option here, com.informix.jdbc.ifx driver. But don't worry, there is a solution for this. Go to the manage drivers, and from that you need to click this add button, and from this window you'll have to go to the link where you have put the JDBC jar, and you need to select this jar and then open. You'll get the name like this here, and then click OK. After doing this, you'll get the option like this. You need to select this jar and give the database URL for the JDBC. So for me, port is 9018 and this is the database name, which is customer. So we need to provide the username, which is Informix, and the password. And after that, we can test the connection if it is getting successful or not. So we are getting connection successful. And click on the finish button. And that's it. And the next task would be to create a dataset. For that, we need to click here in the dataset option and new dataset. We need to choose the Informix data source and we can give it a name like Informix dataset, and we'll do next. From here, we'll get the Informix as an instance, and this is the customer info, which is my table in my database. So inside that, we have these many columns here: customer ID, name, city, item ID, description, quantity, and total. So we are going to make a report which will show our customer details and how much purchase they have done. For that, we'll do select star from customer info. This will be our query, and we'll do finish, and we can check our results by clicking on this preview result. And this is the result of our query. We have the customer ID, name, city, item ID, description, quantity, and total. And these are the 5 customer details. We'll click OK, and our dataset is ready. Now, the next task would be to create a layout for our report by using the UI palette. Okay, to start the UI design of our report, we'll use this palette container. Inside the palette container, there is report items group, which contains labels, text, dynamic text, data, and some other UI elements. We can use these elements in our report to display some data in it. Let's take label first, and let's give it a name like customer information. And by using this property editor, we can add the properties of this UI element. So let's change the color of this UI element and the text color white. Let's make it bold and put it into center. That's good. Now we'll insert one table here to display our customer information table data here inside this report. So to do that, we'll go to insert and we'll select table. From here, we can insert the number of columns we want to show in the table. So let's take 6 and then press OK. Now we'll go to the Data Explorer tab, and from the dataset, we'll select the columns which we want to show in this table here. So first we'll take the customer ID and we'll put these columns inside the detail row here. So let's put the customer ID here, then the customer name, then the item ID, then the description of the item, then the quantity, and the total sum. More into that, we can change the names here as well. Customer ID, customer name, item ID, item description, quantity, and total. So most of the things are done here. We can change the UI properties of these elements as well, but for the simplicity of this report, I'm just keeping it the same way here, and we'll save it. Now the time to run it. So to run our report or to preview our report how it looks, we'll go to the run here, and there is an option to view report. Inside the view report, there is first option in web viewer. If you remember our first step, we did set our external browser to the Firefox, and our report will preview in the Firefox browser right now. So when we click on this in web viewer, a Firefox window will open like this, and here it comes. So here's the report, and we get some options here like toggle table of contents, run report, export data, export report, and print the report. If you see, we have the customer ID, customer name, ID, item description, quantity, and the total. And here it is. So I hope you guys like this video and this tutorial. For more informative videos, please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next video.